Hello and welcome to this video series where I'll be talking about biological image data management with OMERO. I'm Balaji Ramalingam. I'm part of the OME consortium and I'm based in Dundee. In this short video snippet, what we'll be looking at is how to set up the OMERO command line client and eventually how to do some advanced import commands using the OMERO command line client to import images into the OMERO server. We'll start off with a few facility manager workflows, which is where a system admin gets to import images for other users without having their OMERO credentials, which is passwords and etc. And how to do the same in a continuous and in a bulk import scenario. And we'll also be touching upon how to manage the performance of imports with in terms of using different flags during the import process. The setup requirements have been discussed already in a previous version of the basic import videos, and it stays the same. The three basic requirements are Python, ICE, and OMERO server bundle. The versions that will be shown during this demonstration are highlighted in this slide, and the links for the installations of a few of these versions of dependencies are highlighted in the slide as well. The demonstration server that we'll be using for this demonstration is highlighted in the slide here. Now, before we get into the workflow, let's briefly look at the downloads page of OMERO, and under the OMERO server download section, you'll have to download the appropriate server bundle to use for the command line importer. And in my case, I've downloaded the OMERO server bundle with the ICE 3.6 version because I have ICE 3.6 installed locally. The installation of ICE 3.6 is highlighted in our documentation page as well. This is just to highlight the fact that ICE 3.6 will be the recommended version OMERO 5.3 onwards. And I would also like to highlight the server that we'll be using during this demonstration. And this server has a group called the light microscopy group, which has three users: facility manager, facility user 1, facility user 2. And the facility manager in this group is an admin in the OMERO server. Now let's get into the workflow. As we already know, to look at any documentation regarding the command line importer, you could type the help flag OMERO help. This basically highlights all the flags that can be used with the OMERO command, and I would like to specifically highlight the sudo flag over here, because what we'll be trying to do is to import data for others as being a sysadmin in the OMERO server. Now let's start with the workflow, where we start with pin OMERO, then server details, OMERO latest, fem.docker open microscopy.org, then port number, then use the sudo flag. I'm going to import for facility user 1 as facility manager, who's the system admin in the OMERO server, into this dataset import command into the dataset name called import for user 1, and I'll try and import this folder called facility user 1 images, which has 3 DVs. Saying okay, this would basically log in as facility manager, import the data for facility user 1. Now, refreshing the facility user 1 tree shows that the 3 images have been imported under this dataset name called import for user 1, and you can check the facility manager tree as well, and that is empty. The images that were imported using the credentials of the facility manager, who is the system admin, and even though it was imported by facility manager, the owner of the images are highlighted over here, and that is facility user 1. Now this is just a single command which is imported one folder of images, but in certain use cases there might be multiple folders in the directory which might be owned by multiple users, and in this case you could replicate the same command within a shell script multiple times, pointing at different usernames and pointing the appropriate folders as well. So in the first case, the import will be you'll be logging in as facility manager, importing for facility user 1 and importing the facility user 1 images into the dataset name user 1 images. And in the second command, you'll basically be doing the same workflow, but you'll be importing within facility user 2, and you'll be importing a different folder which is facility user 2 images, which has 5 images, which has a mix of TIFF, GIFs and JPEGs. Let's try and run this as well now and see if this does exactly what we expect. So it's basically logged in as facility manager, importing the 3 images into facility user 1 under the dataset name user 1 images, and it's going through the second set of folders and importing them under user 2 images within facility user 2. Now that it's completed it, let's check the data trees. Now you can see user 1 images have been imported, and the owner is basically facility user 1, even though it was imported by facility manager. Now let's look at facility user 2. Should have 5 images, yes, a mix of TIFF, GIFs and JPEGs, and they're owned by facility user 2. This is just to highlight the a bulk import workflow in a very simplistic way. And the last part is you can basically improve the performance of imports as well by adding a few flags which would skip a few processes during the import stage. Like skip over here would basically skip a few of these options, basically checksum or min-max or thumbnails, and the details on what it skips are highlighted in the documentation page, and these could be used along with the other flags to improve the performance of imports. Thank you for watching the video.